Alright everybody, 1,000-mile review on the XR650. Not a lot has changed from my first thoughts. I've done quite a few mods to the bike to better suit me. The biggest one being the lowering link, because I'm a midget, so the bike is really tall, and lowering it helped me astronomically. But I am just under 1,000 miles, and I would say I've had a pretty good mix. I'm probably 60% dirt, 40% blacktop on this bike so far, and it does both good enough. The bike is definitely more comfortable than other bikes that I've rode. My buddy has a KTM 690. We switched off. He rode this, I rode his. His bike is not nearly as comfortable as this one. His bike is also a lot more powerful and a lot more dirt oriented than this, which I believe is split pretty good right down the middle. But we'll go right into some of the things I touched on in the beginning. So when I first got the bike, the fuel mileage was horrible. I mentioned that in my first video. I'm running just regular old 87 octane in this, and I'm getting anywhere between 47 and 52 miles to the gallon. So I make it about 100 miles and I need to fill back up. I have to put it on reserve at almost 2 gallons. It's like 1.8 gallons I have to hit reserve. So I can get pretty close to 100 miles before I hit reserve. And that would mean that there's a gallon of gas left in there. So I could probably stretch a tank of fuel to safely 140 miles. That was a big concern of mine starting out. The bike got horrible gas mileage when I first bought it. I'm not sure what they put in it for fuel, but it didn't like it. I ran 93 in it, and I didn't get as good a gas mileage. I got about 43 miles to the gallon with 93. So with 87, I get much better fuel economy. Obviously, if I was going to not ride the bike as much as I have been riding it, then I would put ethanol-free fuel in it, and I plan on doing that for winter storage. I'll make sure that I run the bike as empty as I can. I'll fill it up with ethanol-free fuel and go from there. If you guys have followed my channel, you know that I did the lowering link. I also lowered the front forks. That was a necessity for me because of my height. It made riding the bike way more comfortable for me, and way easier for me to maneuver it on and off road. So one of the other things that I absolutely hated about the bike is I hated that it had a halogen headlight. So I did replace that with an LED bulb. Much better. I haven't done much night riding, but the little bit of night riding that I did, the LED bulb is way better. I don't know why they don't just give you an LED bulb from the factory. It cost me 30 bucks. But, so what else do we need to talk about? Couple of the other things that I did, that I never really did a video on or anything like that, is I hated the positioning of where the foot brake lever was. It was very high and very close to the side case. So I was kind of actually worried that if I caught something, it might actually come in and hit the side case. I know they make side case protectors. I don't really want to do that. But I ended up kind of heating and bending the brake lever down and out, just so I could kind of cover my rear brake with my foot without actually tripping my brake light, because I could not put my foot over top of the brake pedal without engaging my brakes. So I didn't like that. So I did modify that. I know I'm probably going to catch some slack on that, but it was something that I did that I feel like needed addressed for my riding style. I know in the beginning, my first review, I mentioned how the mirrors suck. I got the mirrors adjusted, and they're not bad. They don't vibrate. I just think they were maybe a little loose. So I got those all where they needed to be, and no real issues with the mirrors. The seat hurt my butt in the beginning. I think a lot of that was just my lack of actual seat time. So I've rode the bike more and more and more, and I think I've broke the seat in a little wee bit, which has also helped with the comfort of the seat. It's become pretty plush. I'm thinking that's only going to get better the more I ride it. You can also see I got rid of that strap that was on here. That strap, sometimes when I sat back, it would kind of almost rub my tailbone. I didn't like that. Also kind of looked like a grandpa strap, so I got rid of that. It looks a little cleaner. Let me think about what else. The tires. So the tires perform fairly well. I've had it get a little wishy-washy on me. Hit some sand in these dirt roads and stuff like that, and maybe some looser gravel. And I've had the front tire kind of wash a little wee bit. I've had the rear tire wash way more. Get that kind of feeling. I think that's pretty standard. I don't know if anything else other than an off-road tire would help that. I mean, when you have a dual sport, you got to compromise somewhere. But I think these tires are pretty good for on and off-road. I will complain that this rear tire seems to be wearing very, very fast. I would be surprised if I can get another 1,000 miles out of this rear tire. I don't know what the life expectancy of the rear tire is, but I think that another 1,000 miles and it's going to be time for a rear tire. Other than that, I really don't have any real complaints with the bike. The bike has done everything that I can ask it to do. It does very well on and off road. It doesn't feel top heavy like it did at first, because the bike, I've lowered it 1.5 inches, so it felt kind of top heavy at first. I lowered it down. It feels way better now, way more stable, easier to control and maneuver. So just as a general overview of the bike, I'm extremely pleased with this bike. I feel like any other bike I would have really been kind of upset with. I feel like this is a true dual sport bike. I feel like it can do the dirt, and I feel like it can do the blacktop. So after that kind of lackluster review, I mean, I really don't have anything bad to say. Honda's done a good job on this bike, and I'm glad this is the bike I bought. So anyways, I've pretty much done all the mods that I want to do to this bike. But there are a few other things that I've been thinking about, and this is where I want to get your guys' input. There's a couple of little things that I've been thinking about, and I don't really know what to do next. So I figured I'd ask the viewers. I want to do the smog delete. I heard that really wakes the bike up. I haven't looked into it at all. I don't know if it requires any kind of carburetor work, but I'm very interested in doing the smog delete. I've also been thinking about a little wind deflector, windshield. I don't really know what you want to call it. I have been thinking about that. And then I would like to get a pipe. mainly just to get rid of this big, obnoxious looking pipe, save some weight. I don't want anything crazy loud. My buddy's bike that I rode, he's got, I don't know what kind of pipe it is, but that thing is loud as heck. I'm not looking to be very, very loud. This pipe sounds okay for me. I would like something with a little bit more tone and maybe a little bit smaller and lighter. So if you guys have any recommendations on a pipe, I'd be interested in hearing it. I know with a pipe also comes having to jet the bike. So that might be something I do over the winter, where I can actually spend some time and actually have the bike torn apart, because quite frankly, I just want to ride the bike right now. So I would like your guys' input on my next mod though. So out of those three, or if you have another modification for me to do, let me know. Comment, and if you know the video, send me to look at some of this stuff. I'd much appreciate it. But this is your chance to interact with me and tell me what you guys want me to do next. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys later.